Elite global universities did not design their grueling, incredibly expensive academic programs to elevate human intelligence. They engineered a highly sophisticated, multi-trillion-dollar debt extraction mechanism explicitly designed to mathematically bankrupt the smartest individuals in society. The macroeconomic landscape is violently shifting right now, and highly advanced artificial intelligence is currently permanently destroying the premium market value of specialized academic labor. The incredibly narrow window of opportunity to convert a prestigious professional title into actual, untouchable sovereign equity is closing permanently this exact year. If you close this video and refuse to take the clinical 60-second wealth test today, you will voluntarily spend the next 40 years operating as a heavily taxed, perfectly obedient intellectual hostage, violently losing millions of dollars of your irreplaceable life energy to unbankruptable student loan interest. The academic elite and commercial banks desperately hide the mathematical architecture of this exact financial test to ensure you remain their most profitable biological asset. But if you stay here, you will uncover the undeniable, brutal psychological mechanism of why a prestigious college degree mathematically guarantees permanent poverty, and you will master the elite exit protocol to build invisible sovereign leverage before the academic matrix drains your financial future completely. Modern society has been deeply and systematically conditioned by a highly engineered educational ecosystem to believe that academic prestige is the ultimate, unquestionable finish line of human success. The average individual looks at a specialized medical doctor, a corporate lawyer, or a senior engineer holding a framed diploma from an elite university, and automatically assumes that this highly educated person has achieved absolute financial invincibility. This is the single most dangerous, devastating psychological hallucination of the modern financial era. Sacrificing a decade of your youth to acquire an advanced degree does absolutely nothing but grant you the massively expensive permission to enter the highest possible tax bracket as an active, entirely exhausted physical laborer. The ultimate metric of true sovereign wealth is absolutely never measured by the Latin words printed on your graduation certificate or the impressive acronyms attached to your professional email signature. It is strictly, mathematically measured by the 60-second wealth test. The premise of this clinical test is brutally simple, yet it completely destroys the fragile ego of the modern, educated professional. If your highly specialized physical and mental labor completely stopped tomorrow morning due to burnout, illness, or technological replacement, exactly how many days could your prestigious academic title actually pay your mortgage without you having to beg a commercial bank for high-interest credit? For the vast majority of doctors and lawyers who are heavily faking their financial success, that survival timeline is exactly zero. If your entire high-status lifestyle collapses the second you stop trading your finite hours for a heavily taxed corporate paycheck, you do not possess real wealth. You possess a highly prestigious, incredibly expensive intellectual cage. You fail the 60-second test. This massive psychological blind spot is compounding aggressively against you every single time you make a minimum payment on your student loans. The academic system actively hides the reality of this mathematical test to keep you enrolled and indebted. Ignore this next biological reality and become entirely financially obsolete today. Unbankruptable student loan mathematics. Let us clinically examine the brutal, undeniable reality of the modern institutional debt trap. The fatal flaw of the highly educated professional is that they mathematically confuse their intellectual accomplishments with actual, tangible commercial leverage. Because the academic institution granted you a prestigious title after years of grueling examinations and sleepless nights, your fragile ego instantly inflates. You genuinely believe that this immense social validation translates into real-world financial power, and that the global economy automatically owes you a life of absolute luxury. This is absolute, undeniable financial insanity. You have voluntarily built a massive, incredibly heavy, sophisticated lifestyle using entirely unbankruptable institutional debt. Elite universities are not benevolent charities dedicated to the expansion of human knowledge. They are highly aggressive, incredibly profitable real estate hedge funds that simply use a standardized academic curriculum as their front-facing marketing funnel. When you confidently sign the binding legal paperwork for a $300,000 student loan, you are being biologically trained exactly like a compliant subject in a laboratory to associate the assumption of permanent, suffocating debt with the immediate, intoxicating reward of social validation from your parents, your peers, and society at large. You own absolutely zero real equity in this transaction. You do not own the intellectual property of the massive hospital network you work for. You do not own the prestigious law firm whose name is on your business card. And you certainly do not own a fraction of the massive university endowment, funds that your incredibly expensive tuition actively subsidizes. You are essentially renting a highly sophisticated, incredibly stressful intellectual identity from massive global financial corporations. Think about the extreme fragility of your prestigious existence. If the market value of your highly specific academic skill completely collapses tomorrow morning due to offshore outsourcing or algorithmic automation, your prestigious degree would mean absolutely nothing. The massive fixed debts you accumulated to acquire that synthetic intellectual image would instantly crush you and your family. A member of the elite 1% uses true leverage to acquire assets that pay them while they sleep. You simply use your high intellect as a desperate guarantee to the government so they can heavily finance your academic vanity. While your degree is synthetic, we must ruthlessly expose the deeply toxic, highly unprofitable nature of your academic arrogance. You genuinely believe that your expensive university degree is an impenetrable financial shield. It is not. Your degree is a highly taxable, entirely synthetic illusion, the absolute darkest secret of the modern financial matrix. A heavily guarded reality that university presidents and elite professors will never publicly admit is that the highly educated W-2 professional is the single most violently penalized entity in the entire global economy. Truly wealthy elite, the silent capital allocators, the private equity owners, and the institutional investors, operate in a completely different, entirely invisible parallel universe. They build the corporate infrastructure, they aggressively collect massive physical and digital equity, and they employ highly educated professionals exactly like you to handle the stressful, microscopic technical labor. They do not care about acquiring a prestigious college degree because they are too busy quietly buying the massive commercial real estate buildings where you proudly go to work every single day. They use tax-free debt to multiply their wealth, while you use highly taxed active income to simply survive your debt. You, on the other hand, operate directly in the center of the financial slaughterhouse. As a highly educated professional, you generate massive, undeniable value for the institution. But before your hard-earned money ever touches your personal bank account, the government violently confiscates up to 40% of your wealth immediately off the top, because active W-2 income is the most aggressively penalized money on earth. Then the commercial banks immediately confiscate the next massive percentage to pay off your unbankruptable student loans. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and a decade of your youth trying to buy authority, effectively paying the system out of your own pocket to validate your intellect. You have absolutely zero financial leverage. The truly terrifying part is that the harder you study, the more aggressively you are penalized. A massive promotion to senior partner does not bring you closer to true freedom. It simply pushes you into a much higher tax bracket where the system extracts an even larger percentage of your unrecoverable life energy, until you shift your focus from active, highly specialized physical labor into passive, tax-sheltered back-end equity. Your entire academic career is just a highly efficient, involuntary donation to the banking system. Pay extreme attention right now. What we are about to expose is the single most devastating, entirely legalized psychological extraction mechanism used against intelligent people. If you do not restructure your neurochemistry immediately after hearing this, you are volunteering for permanent financial slaughter. The academic ego illusion. Why do highly intelligent, incredibly capable, intellectually superior professionals willingly participate in this destructive, endless cycle of academic servitude? We must clinically analyze the biological mechanism that keeps you completely paralyzed. Elite university marketers and corporate behavioral psychologists understand human evolutionary biology significantly better than you understand yourself. They know exactly how to weaponize your intelligence against your own financial survival. Let us look closely at your brain. In ancient human history, when we lived in small, brutal tribal environments, being perceived as low status or lacking technical value meant you were denied vital resources, rejected by the group, and left to die in the brutal winter. Your modern brain still carries this exact same biological terror of social irrelevance. It is deeply hardwired into your fundamental DNA. You buy massively overpriced university degrees, you lease premium European vehicles the exact moment you graduate from your residency, and you dine at highly exclusive restaurants strictly to validate the decade you spent suffering in a dark medical library. It is deeply hardwired into your fundamental DNA. You buy massively overpur, you are desperately trying to build a synthetic psychological shield. You are using borrowed institutional money to hide your deep, primal insecurities from the blue-collar workers you secretly, arrogantly believe you are better than. You mathematically and logically justify this highly toxic financial behavior to yourself by claiming, "I sacrificed my entire youth studying, I save lives, I handle massive corporate lawsuits, I genuinely deserve to drive a luxury car." You do not realize that your extreme desperation to look successful is a perfectly calculated variable in the system's financial design. is the hedonic treadmill weaponized directly against your intellectual ambitions. As your desire for professional status increases, your biological threshold for financial risk rises in exact parallel. You start viewing premium, incredibly expensive lifestyle props as absolute baseline necessities to prove that your degree was actually worth the sacrifice. The exact moment you receive your first massive corporate paycheck, it is instantly absorbed by a newly financed liability, simply to prove to your peers that you have finally made it. The academic ego ensures that you must continue working your exhausting, highly specialized 80-hour weeks just to service the massive, suffocating overhead of your own fabricated intellectual image. You are running a marathon at an absolute sprint pace on a corporate treadmill that you do not even own. Wall Street's smartest hostage. Wall Street executives absolutely love highly educated professionals. You are their absolute favorite, most profitable demographic. You desperately want the corporate world to look at your framed diplomas and your specialized vocabulary and automatically assume you have absolute, unquestionable authority. But true, unshakable authority cannot be purchased with a university acceptance letter and a high-interest government loan. The actual financial elite completely reject this pathetic, highly transparent performance. They gladly embrace the temporary discomfort of looking completely average or even entirely uneducated to the untrained public eye. The truly wealthy architects happily operate massive, highly profitable blue-collar businesses, scale digital monopolies in absolute silence, and live in highly efficient, modest locations while rapidly acquiring massive, invisible equity in the background. They gladly absorb the brutal, arrogant judgment of broke, heavily indebted doctors and lawyers, because they deeply understand that massive, automated daily cash flow and sovereign ownership of assets are the absolute only metrics that actually matter in the real world. The academic algorithm actively monetizes your intellectual arrogance. Every single time you finance a lifestyle you cannot afford simply to prove that your job title is prestigious, you pay the commercial banks a massive premium to soothe your fragile ego. You are voluntarily funding their generational empires because you are biologically too weak to separate your self-worth from your professional title. You are incredibly book-smart, but you are entirely financially illiterate. You understand complex legal frameworks and human anatomy perfectly, but you do not understand the basic mathematics of compound interest, tax shelters, and private equity. Wall Street uses your massive intellect to generate the actual value in the economy, and then uses your massive ego to extract that value right back out of your pocket through consumer debt. You are not a master of the universe. You are Wall Street's smartest, most beautifully dressed, unpaid biological hostage. The system is perfectly designed to keep you blind, exhausted, and hopelessly indebted until it is far too late to recover your youth. The final protocol I am about to reveal is the exact architecture the top 1% uses to escape the academic matrix. Execute this today, or remain a heavily financed intellectual slave forever. Escaping the institutional matrix. You must aggressively and violently shatter this delusional, heavily financed intellectual illusion today. You must embrace the brutal, cold, mathematical reality of your exact financial situation and instantly admit to yourself that despite your impressive academic credentials, despite your prestigious professional title, you completely fail the 60-second wealth test. You are secretly, mathematically broke. Confess your massive, destructive, ego-driven sins to yourself in the mirror right now. The absolute only way to escape the academic poverty trap is to completely murder your pathetic need for external intellectual validation. You must aggressively lower your visible social status today to instantly skyrocket your actual, invisible wealth tomorrow. Break the suffocating, heavy chains of the academic Skinner box immediately. Stop increasing your lifestyle and renting expensive status props every single time you receive a corporate promotion or complete a new medical specialization. Force yourself to live exactly like you did when you were a broke college student surviving in a tiny apartment, and violently deploy every single saved dollar into cash-flowing digital assets, private business equity, broad index funds, and tax-advantaged commercial real estate. Build a massive, impenetrable fortress of financial friction around your bank account. Stop relying on your highly fragile, completely active professional income and focus entirely on acquiring massive leverage and generational back-end ownership. Become the silent, incredibly ruthless architect of your own reality. Stop trading your irreplaceable hours on Earth for a prestigious title that the commercial banks use to permanently enslave you. The global financial elite actively suppress this exact psychological truth because they desperately need you to remain a highly stressed, perfectly compliant, highly educated employee completely addicted to synthetic status. They need you to stay exactly where you are in the operating room or the corporate boardroom to generate their massive profits. Subscribe right now to quickly join the elite sovereign minority and master the 1% money mindset today. Stop blindly playing the rigged academic game they designed perfectly to extract your energy and your future. Master your mind entirely before the academic matrix destroys your future. Build your massive fortress of absolute sovereign financial power today. See you in the next elite financial protocol.